I know women that are in great shape and then they have a baby and they fall off completely. Yeah. They never bounce back from it. And everyone's like, oh, you have to have all this food. You gotta eat breakfast. You gotta eat all these things. And I don't think we need to do that.
What's up everyone, I'm Joanna Palante, welcome back to my channel. I'm here to help you take your health, fitness, and mindset to the next level. Today we have Matt Tralli, celebrity fitness trainer. He used to work at the Dog Pound, now he's off on his own doing big things. Matt's gonna take you through some of his day-to-day routines and things that he does with his clients to keep them in top physical and mental shape. You know, can you talk more about the little things that you preach to your clients and what you think enact the most change for really being in your best shape?
Right. So basically, you know, obviously as you get older, you know, your body changes, right? You know, some of the things that you did before aren't going to work,
right?
You know, especially as you get older. So you have to change up what you do, especially even when especially if you have a baby, right? Like even you could be in great shape. I mean, I know women that are in great shape and then they have a baby and they fall off completely, and they you know, they never bounce back from it. So again, it's like similar, it's like an adversity. If you get an injury, right? It's like same thing. You're going through such a really traumatic experience. I mean,
it's a shocking thing to your body.
Everyone, like, we talk about, like, you know, our moms and women in our lives, and like to have I don't know anything about it because I'm a guy. I'll never have to have a baby ever in my life. So what I'm saying is, like, you know, I can't even fathom that, but it's really goal setting, right? Like I said before you had a baby, right? And you're even in your 20s, your 30s, right? You did the same thing, and I'm in good shape.
Your metabolism is a lot faster.
Right? And you're like,
I just turned 41. It's a different world.
I just go to the gym. I do the same thing. Like, you know, you watch what you eat, but you're not really cognitive of it until something like that happens to you. You're pregnant, right? Or you get into a serious injury, right? Now you're like, the things I used to do are not the same. It doesn't affect me anymore. Now it's like I'm trying to lose all this weight that I never had before. Yeah. And now you're like trying to do the same things and it's not working. Doesn't work. So that's when you're like, okay, what do I do?
So another thing that you mentioned was like the calorie deficit, right? And this, it should be common sense, but I think some people need to hear it. And it made sense to me when you kind of broke it down. It's like, well, what are you eating? Because if you are working out, but you're taking in all these calories, then you're not going to see weight loss, right? You're just burning both ends, right? There's no way that your body's going to react that way unless you take those calories down. Yeah,
I think a prime example are bodybuilders, right? Men and women. The biggest thing that you ask a bodybuilder, anything, is their diet. Right, like they have their diet down to a T. Like, I mean, if you really, really, really want to get in crazy shape, I always tell people it's literally like 85-90% your diet, like what you eat. Like the workouts, there's a million different workouts, and it's really workouts are kind of more, what do you like, what works for you.
There's a mental health benefit and with whatever you're doing.
That too, but really, like the real change comes from the food you eat. Right, and what you're eating, how much you're eating, you know, that, like I said, that, you know, perfect example are bodybuilders and how they count their macros, right? They count everything is to a T. Obviously, they're trying to achieve like the perfect physique, right? But to achieve that perfect physique it's really like, I'm telling you, if you go on YouTube and watch like behind the scenes of like their daily life, but like, it comes down to, like, it's crazy. I didn't even know that until I really looked into it, because I'm not a bodybuilder, I'm an athlete, so it's a little bit different. You eat for fuel. You really eat as an athlete, you eat for fuel to, like, give you energy to, like, perform, right? Right. Whereas a bodybuilder, you're eating for the physique. So basically, if you, like, it comes down to, like, the carb or the potassium, or, like, you eat a banana and you'll, boom, like, your body, like, it's really crazy to the point where, you know, when you're really cutting it down and you're trying to look a certain way, your body can change from small little things that we don't even know. Obviously that's an extreme, but in this case, you know, you want to lose weight, right? It's a numbers game, right? It's how many calories you have in a day.
Okay, so I want to touch on your diet. So you are obviously in like top shape, what's a day in the life of Matt? What do you eat? And what are your cheats when you do cheat?
Yeah. I think that, like I said before, everyone's different and everything, everyone's diet and what works with their schedule, so it varies for everyone. But for me, personally, I intermittent fast. So that means I don't eat for 16 hours, but half the time I'm sleeping, 8 hours I'm sleeping.
So that's easy.
Right, so 8 hours when I'm up, I'm not eating. And then I eat for 8 hours.
So the first meal is when?
First meal is like 12. If I go to sleep, last meal I eat is, it depends whatever my last meal is. But typically I'm not eating at past 8. That's just how I do is, and then I won't eat until 12 the next day. Right. It just works with my schedule because I wake up and I train in the morning. So where's the time really to do that?
So you work out fasted too? You get a workout in.
So yeah,
ideally.
I personally, I'll do it fasted. I feel like I'm just more sharp. And it really depends on the workout though, what I'm doing. But like I said, if you're just specifically trying to, for aesthetic purposes, like if you're intermittent fasting and you're able to do, I call it intermittent steady state fasted cardio, you're putting yourself in like a zone 2 where you're not, because the problem, I guess, when other people have against fasting and working out fasted is if your heart rate gets up too high, now your body is going to start to grab muscle. Right? It's like a car that's like trying to like run on nothing, right? But if you're making the threshold
if
too
you're
high,
really doing like
because
if
you're doing it where it's low intensity, right? Your body's just gonna grab the fat, right?
So that's what you want. You want to be working out fasted, but not pushing yourself to that point where your body's going after
if I'm in a fasted state, I'm not gonna push it. I'm not gonna push it too hard. So that's where the watch comes in, like check your heart rate. Check your heart rate. That's why all these fitness trackers are so big. The Garmin watch we were talking about the other day. It's like these fitness trackers are, because it's important.
You like the Garmin watch?
Learn it. I like the Garmin watch. Yeah. I still have I like the Apple Watch because I get my notifications. So as I'm training, it just helps. As a trainer, it works for me. Because then I'm not looking at my phone all the time.
You could just see if something important comes through.
The Garmin watch, I think, does it too. I've been looking into it. I think you can get your notifications too, but again, it's not Apple, so it's not compatible
as
to
seamless.
to your phone as the Apple Watch is.
Just integrated.
But again, I don't know the whole scientific lingo of fasting, but I know for a fact that they have done studies on it, and fasting actually is beneficial for you. Overall health. Yeah. Like, I mean, they're going into more like you can do 7-day fasts. I mean, Dana White did the 4-day water fast. You know what I'm saying? So it's obviously these things, I think we, again, and hey, America's obese, right? What is it? 60% of something obesity is a problem. And everyone's like, oh, you have to have all this food. You got to eat breakfast. You got to eat all these things. And now we think back and it's like, whoa. Did you really? Yeah. Like, I don't think we need to do that. And,
or like the food pyramid that we grew up on, right? Which is totally wrong.
Yeah. And then that obviously as you go and time goes on, they learn, they do studies, they learn more things. But a big thing now is fasting and how it's, like people would be like, oh, you're just starving yourself. No, it's not. Like, it actually helps your body repairs itself.
Right. When
it's in that state, which is, everyone's like, oh, whoa, what are you talking about? Like when you tell them that, you know what I mean? Like they don't know that. They're thinking you're just like, oh, like you're starving yourself. You have a problem. It's like, no. You're doing it. Right. If you're conscious of it, obviously, some people don't, do it that way. And again, that's the, if they don't know it, right? So first meal I have is chicken, brown rice, complex carb. So brown rice, sweet potatoes, quinoa, those type of carbs. Mm-hmm. Bad carbs, or they're not bad carbs, but not complex carbs would be the breads of the world that are starchy. So you do eat bread? No, I definitely have bread.
There.
No, yeah, I definitely
you go to New York, you have a bagel.
I have bread, but again, like we said before, for to fuel you and things that are actually going to help you with your fitness or anything in daily life that give you actual these foods, like these complex carbs, proteins, your vegetable, like those type of stuff. It's going to help you Where the other stuff is bread and stuff and pizza and all that. It's like they're carbs, but they don't do anything for you.
Right.
It's not going to help you in any way. It's just that those things are made for us for
it tastes
comfort,
good in the moment, but
for good food, for it to taste great.
Right.
But if you break it down, like none of the stuff in those foods actually help you.
Right.
You know, does it give you energy? No, like, you know what I'm saying? Like brown rice, sweet potato, those kind of stuff, nuts and stuff, they give you energy and they help your body, rather than the other stuff is just there, because it tastes good.
Right.
Okay, well.
So if you get your first meal, that's like around noon, and then you do one later.
Yeah, so then I'll have, like in between there, I'll have like a protein shake. So I'm trying to hit a certain protein goal, which is, you should have a minimum of your body weight in grams of protein.
Okay.
So whatever your body weight is, you have to have in grams of protein.
I should have 120 grams of protein.
Minimum. That's like the minimum.
Me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Because your body needs protein to, it helps with your muscles and breaks it down. So you need protein. That's like I'm sure now you see it more often.
Yeah.
People are getting more into it. And that's why all these other things, a lot of, like, they tell you right off the bat, it's like, this has 10 grams. Like, you see it everywhere. You go to the supermarket, everything that has protein in it now, it's like they'll tell you how much protein is. Because people are now looking at that, tracking it, right? Like macros, but things that people have been doing for long times, bodybuilders have been doing for a long time. They see these things now. I see this in grocery stores, or people are starting, like, these brands are starting to really put, this is protein.
I posted the other day.
This is carbs. Which is like,
I didn't
have that before.
Is there a way, if I have to have some form of like a carb, probably not the good carb, not that I have to, but I kind of enjoy it and I feel better. Sometimes I get like a little bit dizzy if I don't have any carbs. So if I were to have, let's say, a half of a bagel in the morning, or a piece of toast, or a slice of pizza at night, if I'm going to call it my one guilty pleasure, carb, when should I have it?
Honestly, after a workout.
Okay.
After a workout is probably which people are like, oh, you just worked that. Actually, after a workout, if you have a like a carb like
you're gonna burn through it.
Yeah, well, actually, it will absorb.
Okay.
You'll absorb it. So if anything, and that's what I was told a long time ago from another trainer who's like she was a bodybuilder into fitness, she said if you're gonna have a bad carb like that, it's after a workout.
So I could train with you and have a half a bagel.
Yeah. I mean, don't go crazy. I mean, listen, it's like you tell people that and they're like, oh, well,
I'm going to go. But you have to be real.
I'm going to go into it. Yeah,
if you're going to do it, when should you do it?
Yeah.
That's
I mean, again, it's like,
it's
it's all, like I said, relative. So, what are we talking about here? Like, obviously you can have all these things, but if you're like, I need to hit, that's why goal setting is big. Goal setting is big, right? Because if you're like, I need to hit this goal by this, and then you're like, well, but I really want to have pizza and I really want to go out and drink. And I'm like, well, if you want to do that, then your goal is just going to keep being pushed back.
Sure.
If that's what you want, I mean, you can live, I'm not saying you can't live your life, but if you really want to hit a certain goal, then that's, what you have to do. If you're like, all right, well then
I have some
I
time,
just want to, I want to just like do this gradual. Okay, great. Well, then you're going to have to start limiting those things. I'm not saying take them out completely. But start to like, okay, well, now notice what's going on with your body. Oh, well, now I drink on the weekend. And you're like, you notice, oh, well, I can't bounce back from it. And it's like, then you're going to be like, then I don't want to drink. You know what I'm saying? So it
makes sense. That's,
if you really want to hit a certain, goal or look or something, that you have to, it's discipline. One
thing that I wanted to backtrack to was like for the pregnancy weight loss, I got this scale. I think it's called like E-Tech City. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but you can get it on Amazon for $20 to $25. Any scale that does what this scale does, in my opinion, is worth it if you're trying to set a goal like you were talking about before. Because I stepped on that scale. I have my stats. March of last year, I was 133 pounds. I had a level 4 visceral fat. I didn't even know what visceral fat was. I had to look it up. It's like the fat around your belly that obviously built up during my pregnancy because I had obviously pregnancy, and I had a bad diet when I was pregnant. I overall ate healthy because I had that mindset from my daughter, but I had a sweet tooth. I was eating things that I don't normally eat. I was craving ice cream. So anyway, I had this buildup of fat. So I was a visceral fat level 4, and I had body fat at like 22%, a little over 22%. Within like 6 to 8 months, I got that down to level 1 visceral fat, which I was really proud of. And I got my body fat down to a 19%. So that scale has an app. So every time you step on the scale, it sends your stats to the app. You can set goals, you can track it. And then that really helped me because every time if I knew I was going out to a dinner, I'm like, my visceral fat's at a 3. Like, I got to get this thing down. And it changed the way I thought about alcohol. I'm not a big drinker, but I used to go out and, have a margarita or this or that. I completely got off sugary drinks. I only enjoy red wine here and there. I like it. I just genuinely enjoy it with a meal. So that's like my guilty pleasure. But, if I go to dinner now, it might be 1 glass of red wine a week, 2 glasses of red wine a week. It stops there. Because if I'm in the gym doing my workout with you that I'm paying for, I'm tracking it on my Apple Watch, I have a calorie goal. For me to just go and drink 3 glasses of wine, it's just not enjoyable after all the work I put in, because I'm like, I just wasted my time.
Yeah, it just holds you accountable. All those things, the watch, the scale and all that stuff, it's like, just holds you accountable. It's just something it gives you numbers, it gives you data, and like and you're a person that runs off data, right? Your job, your finance, you did finance, when you're a numbers person, you're a goal setting person, like, which is great. And those people are successful, and they're, for the most part, in great shape because they like to see numbers, and they're doing everything based off of that. So obviously it just holds you accountable, and that's what those things are great for.
So you broke your jaw twice?
Twice, yeah.
How'd you do it the first time?
First time was in football. So it was like May or June of 2010. And we didn't have helmets on. It was like a competition, but it was like, it wasn't padded. So it was like an off-season thing. And there was a pass over the middle, and I went to swat it down. And then one of my best friends, who was the quarterback, who was playing safety at the time, we collided, and he broke his forearm on my jaw. But luckily it wasn't his throwing arm; it was his left arm. Right. He got up, and his forearm was broken. And I got up, and I just like spit out blood. I didn't know anything happened. So I just got knocked in the, I just like collided, like you know. And then my jaw was, I just felt like, not my jaw, I felt my back teeth were loose. This is on my right side, because I broke this side too. So the right side.
So you broke different sides.
Yeah, so different sides. So I felt like my back teeth were loose. So I came out, and I went to the trainer. I was like, I think I'm like my back, like molars were like loose. Like, what do I do? And she looks at it, and she's like, no, your jaw is broken.
She was able to tell us by looking at you.
Yeah, because like my teeth weren't loose. You get what I'm saying? So it had to be my jaw.
Right.
So then I went to the hospital, and they told me this, it was like, you have to get your jaw wired shut. So they just like, they put like, you go to like an orthodontist, they put like the brackets, just like you would have braces, but it's like on your gums. And then they like do, they used to do like wiring. Now nowadays it's bands. It's like really strong bands. So it looks like you're like fucking like Hannibal Lecter, like, you know what I'm saying? Like on my fucking teeth, so I couldn't open my mouth, couldn't talk like this. Imagine that. It was terrible.
And you were how old?
And I couldn't eat anything. Think about it, I literally could not eat anything because I had to, like, it was literally completely shut for 2 months. And like, I wasn't like, I'd lost like my strength. Like I couldn't do anything for 2 whole months.
So now fast forward to, what was it, September? When it happened the second time.
So it happened the second time. So now I knew what it was like, so I was able to like take away from that. But it also like was scaring me because I was like, fuck, like I'm gonna have to like.
I was sitting downstairs watching the football game. Aaron Rodgers goes down. I'm like, oh man, Aaron Rodgers. Then all of a sudden I get a text from Kevin, our mutual friend, and he's like, you're never gonna believe what happened.
Right.
Matt broke his jaw. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, hold up. And then, you can explain exactly what happened, but
I was getting ready to the Jets game. I was back home, and I had my jersey laid out, my Jets jersey, and I was getting in the shower, and since the shower is running, and I was stepping into the shower, I slipped on it was a tub, so I slipped on like the curved part, and it would happen like, snap of your fingers, and I just fell and tried to grab the shower curtain, fell, hit my face, but I popped back up. I knew from the first time when I broke my jaw the first time, I knew what it felt like. But like then when I started to like really start to like kind of examine it, I was like moving it, and I was like, I broke it.
And tell us about how you got just back in the right mindset, back to training. You obviously took a little bit of a break so that you didn't do anything that was going to, ruin what you just had done in surgery. But at the end of the day, back to work, training, mindset of, a champ.
Yeah. So my initial reason why I was so upset is because I was like, not even because I broke my jaw before, so I knew what it was like. I knew, yes, it sucks to I'm gonna have to have my jaw wired shut. I'm not gonna eat anything, whatever. My thought wasn't, that stuff. My thought was I need to work.
Yeah. Because you were just starting out on your own.
Just starting my own. I need to work. I need to be able to talk to people. But I was just all of those things are going on in my head. How can I make this work to my, and not make it set me back, right? I also had to come back and look for an apartment.
You were moving.
So I was moving. So I was that was my interesting. I was and I asked him at the thing, and I'm he said, I might be able to get it done this week. And I'm what do you mean? No. I was I have to leave.
It has to get done
I
this
was
week.
I have to leave. My thought process was let's get surgery now, and I'm flying home tomorrow. That's why I always say that's not the destination, it's the journey.
Yeah.
And that quote, I tattooed it on my leg. That stuck to me because when you hear about everyone's story, it's always it's never really when you're there.
Right.
It's what
all the steps
got you
to
to
it.
there.
Yep.
And that's where when you're rapping or you're an athlete or something like that, it's that's where the people really gravitate towards.
Right.
And also see how what it takes to get to that.
Yeah.
And everyone's is different.
Right. But it's relatable because, you can't just show people you at the top. It's there was so much more that went into, getting there from A to B.
And that's why, and as an athlete, you go through that, I would say majority of, professional athletes or athletes at any level go through something, adversity, and that carries you on into life because then you take it into your actual life. And when you think about the times you were in sports, through adversity. That's why I always tell people, and that's why sports are so important because you go through that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why your parents or your coaches will always tell you it's how you bounce back from something, right? And now I'm crazy. It's I'm 30 now. I think about it. I'm all the things my coaches, my parents said to me. Now I think about it.
You're applying
you think about you're applying them now, which is the most ironic part because they're trying to make you apply it then.
Right, and you're too young. It doesn't make sense.
14,
you're I just want to get off the field and go party with my friends.
You don't even think about that. And I even in college, my coaches would always say it's the little things, right? We're just we just lost a game. Obviously, it's the little things we lost. We're just not even thinking about it. We're thinking about going out that night. And now I think about those times when he said this, the little things, and now I'm in my regular life. It's really the little things that matter, that make big things.
Also, talk to me about what you've gone on to accomplish from after you took that jump that a lot of people are scared to take when they leave their 9-to-5 life, no matter what the career path may be.
Yeah, so it's like we said, it's just taking on opportunities, and I think what got me to where I am today, way back, 6-7 years ago before I started working at Dog Pound, even before I got to Equinox, I took that opportunity to go the little extra distance to I went from upstate New York, took the train, hour and a half, then had to get on a subway to get downtown, right? Not everyone's gonna do that. Right. It's a little bit of an effort. It's taking that extra step and putting yourself in the situation rather than being oh, maybe I'll get into the situation. No, I put myself in the situation. I put myself in where I felt like I was gonna, get opportunities. Mm-hmm. And that's how I got to Equinox, Dog Pound, and all that stuff. So,
and also focus on time management because you don't want to take on too many clients, be driving all over town, miss bigger opportunities where you can have brand deals and things. I mean, your Instagram is, I'm sure getting noticed by people and brands want to work with you. Yeah. And so you have to be selective with your time now. You can't just take on anything because, a lot of people do that and they burn out and they, they waste time on things where their efforts could be better used elsewhere.
Right. And I think that's probably the hardest thing that I've realized now being on my own, having my own business and my own brand is time management and managing all of that. I have a manager that manages my social media, but not even that. More just managing my time and being in certain places. And like I said, getting opportunities, putting myself in opportunities. It's almost like now you're thinking like, okay, time is not going to let you do every single opportunity all at once. So you kind of have to pick and choose what you want to do. And again, you can't like knock yourself for you choose one.
You can't always
and not
get it
every
right.
single one is gonna be. I tell kids are like, how do I get to like where you are and this and this. I'm like, you can't go into it thinking like, oh, if I work at this place or I go here, like I'm gonna automatically get this.
Right.
That's not how it is, right? It doesn't automatically happen. It happens for me because I just put myself in the opportunity and I was authentic, and I just kind of just like enjoyed the process, and I went, I trusted the process, and I just was myself, and things happen, right? You can't just go into it thinking like, oh, this, if I do this, I'm automatically gonna become this. No, you still have to work for it, and you still have to, just be open to different things, different opportunities. So yeah, I think that's what really.
Is there any one person you trained that you were starstruck by, like where you had a moment like, I can't believe I'm here training this person?
I don't know. I mean, I think.
You have a pretty good roster
Honestly,
of people.
Hugh Jackman was pretty cool. I
cool.
mean, training him, back in New York was pretty. I don't know. I wasn't really like starstruck, but I guess.
A moment where you were like.
I mean, it's pretty cool. I'm like, not everyone gets to have this opportunity. I mean, and that's what was so great about that. I love Dog Pound. I always loved Dog Pound. I love Kirk. But like, we really had a point in time where there was just like just in general being there, not even just training them, just being there and training one person, like training Hugh Jackman. But then you have like Adriana Lima and all these other, people that are in the gym at the same time of you was like. That was like a whole stimulating, experience as it is. So I don't think it was really one specific person.
But the energy in there at the time was
for sure. It's
helping you think of bigger things.
And I think, and I don't think I think going through that enough, you kind of don't really get starstruck as much. Maybe right off the bat, but then you're like, okay, this is where I am. Yeah. This is where I'm supposed to be, right? So. I don't know. I think that's another thing too with when you come across point in times in your life where you're like, how is this happening? It's almost like, no, it should be happening.
That was meant to be.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I hope you enjoyed some key takeaways from our video. There's going to be a series with a lot of health and wellness tips. Make sure you subscribe. I'm going to take you through a day in the life if you want to see more of what I did to bounce back from my pregnancy, and just ways to improve your mindset and set yourself up for success. So thank you, Matt. If you want some more of Matt's workouts, they're available on his Instagram. His website is linked there. We're going to build a playlist, workouts you could do from anywhere. So make sure you subscribe and follow and give us a like. Thanks so much.